Good evening. It is so good to have you back with us. I'm Tom Waters, your host, and I have an outstanding guest this evening, one that's going to be giving you a lot of information. So as always, I tell you, have something to write down so you can take notes and just be involved in everything we're talking about this evening. I have with me as my guest, Ed Bevilacqua.
Close enough.
Close enough. Okay, let's call him Ed B, and that way we know we got it. We got it correct. Ed has such a vast background in our community, and he knows so much about what's going on in our community. And those are the things that we want to talk about this evening. So, Ed, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Doctor. As always, it's just a pleasure to be here. The show is so important to the county that it's just an honor to be here on the show with you.
Well, we try to make this show, which we entitled Nye County, because it covers all of Nye County. It also covers some parts in Clark County, because the guests that we have are so innovative and informative about so many things that are going on. So for that reason, we want to go ahead and impart that information to our community. And this is the best way to do it.
Yeah, it is. You're right. This is something that, especially out here in the rural frontier counties,
yes,
this is the best way to get information across to people, important information, in a kind of like in a sort of a family or a community way, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so important. Almost anybody can be on this show as long as they have some information that's important to our community.
Right. I'm just thinking of some of the people, but you're right. That's the essence of it. If they have some information that's important to the community.
And that's what it's all about. And this show has been going on now for 10 years that I've been doing it. And it's just, to me, it's just so informative. When I go back and I look at some of the former shows and some of the guests we've had, I mean, it's just a historical documentation of Nye County and Pahrump.
So, like, what's an example of that? Can you think of any of the big moments that you've had in the last 10 years, right?
Oh, 10 years, yes. Oh, me. You know, if I sat back and I looked at it, I'm looking at, well, we've had sheriffs. We've had several sheriffs on. Of course, we've had that. We've had the county manager coming in and talking about things that are going on in Nye County. People that are running the internal workings of Pahrump, we have them on. We've had, you talk about anybody that's important to making things function in Nye County, we've had them on.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Do you remember your first show?
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
Oh, the first show was with Bill Kobarger. And Bill Kobarger was the town manager at that time, the former town manager, because the town of Pahrump had just, the town board had just been dissolved.
Okay.
And so the first show, I was no longer a town board member, and we brought him on, and we had one other person, and a person that had been formerly on the town board. And those are the things that we talked about.
Okay. And for you, with your experience before that, it was no big deal as your first show.
I wouldn't say no big deal. Prior to coming to this TV station, I was at another TV station that we had in
Here?
Pahrump.
Okay.
There's no longer a TV station in Pahrump. That was Channel 30. And I had a show called Pahrump Live with Dr. Tom Waters.
Okay.
And it was the same type of format. And so we had guests and the same things.
So they got you to trade up to a bigger station.
Absolutely.
Okay. And now, how long had you been in Pahrump before you started doing any TV shows?
It had been a while because Faye and I moved here in 2008. We came from Germany.
Okay.
After 10 years of working as a school official, with ending up at Ramstein Air Base as the assistant principal and principal for the high school and the middle school, and thoroughly enjoyed all of that. But then we came here in 2008, and I got involved in the educational side with Great Basin College as well as the high school. And so people got to know me, and so I was involved in a lot of different committees. And with that, that's when Channel 30 said, "Would you like to do a show with us?" And I said, "Well, more radio than TV." but I accepted it and moved into the TV and thoroughly enjoyed it. And once I got elected to the Pahrump Town Board, I had to go ahead and drop that because I just didn't have the time anymore.
Now, you're talking about Germany.
Yes.
And this morning I had breakfast with the pastor of the Lutheran Church who's been in Germany.
Okay.
And we were talking about something. He was talking about how the Germans are. They're about some quirks. And I said, that reminds me, if Dr. Tom said something that his neighbors would get upset if he wouldn't sweep his porch or something.
Yes.
What's that all about?
Well, in Germany, the mothers or the wives, each morning, they clean their stoop. They sweep, and that's the way it is. For Americans, we don't do that. Yeah. So they were complaining that Faye and I did come out and clean the stoop every morning. There was nothing to sweep, There were no leaves, there was nothing. But it's just something that they do. So.
He said he kind of got hassled about separating his garbage.
That too. You can get fined for not separating the garbage.
Okay.
The recyclables.
Yeah.
They have different color bins for all the recyclable things, plastic, glass, paper. And if you put in the wrong one, they will definitely let you know.
So what do you think they would think of us out here in the frontier?
They would say we're heathens, we're bad people.
Okay. So they would be trying to sweep the poof dirt off every day, right?
Absolutely. And not only that, but Faye and I brought back the small containers as souvenirs. So in our kitchen, we have the different color containers, the recyclable containers. It's something we'll always remember.
Do you use them?
No, these are just very small. It's just for souvenirs, nothing more. But they're the same size as our trash containers. And that's what the recycle is. When they say they're coming by to pick up paper, they're only going to pick up the paper.
Oh,
They'll
really?
pick up the glass later or the plastics or something else. But that's what you got to have. If you have a mixed, you receive a fine.
Okay.
You get fined for that. No.
And I can imagine if it's supposed to be the blue container or whatever, and it's not out there, people are going to notice.
They just go on by.
Okay.
If you don't have the right container out there, they're not going to pick up the red container.
Okay.
Or the blue container or the green container.
You can't bring them all out and you guys decide.
They can't. You can have them all out there and they'll just pick up the one that they came for.
Okay. So it's different.
It's different. It's different day, different color.
When you moved here, did you have any difficulty adjusting to the freedom?
Yes, because I was still recycling.
Oh, but there was nowhere to recycle.
I was still recycling, and I'm ready to put things in different containers, and it doesn't matter. They didn't care. So I went down and I talked to people at the disposal and said, "Does it matter if I put the paper in the glass or anything?" They said, "No, because we mix it all up and then we do it."
Oh,
so it's completely different here, and it took a while for us mentally to get back to we don't care.
Now, how about the poof dirt?
That never bothered us. When we say that, we sweep the front of our house anyway, so it was okay.
Now, what about the poof dirt after it rains?
I don't follow you there.
Okay, so my experience driving on poof dirt after the rain is it's not good.
No.
It's tough.
It's like mud.
It's like mud, and you can easily get stuck.
Yes.
Okay. Nothing like that in Germany, though.
Nothing that we ran into, because the German cities they're very modern. They're somewhat more advanced than we are here. We got used to driving on the Autobahn.
Okay.
Driving 125, 130 miles an hour. And the courtesy from the Germans is total. If you're in the left lane, you're passing. If you're in the right lane, you're driving. And you don't get in the left lane if you're not passing.
Okay. Now, how would they be on the 160 south?
The 160 would be the same way. On the right side, you're driving. If you're passing somebody, you move in the left lane.
Okay.
That's all. You're only in the left lane to pass, nothing else.
And how fast would you say would be safe to travel on 160 south?
Well,
Because it's not like the Autobahn, right? The
No.
Autobahn is a high quality.
Autobahn is high
speed.
quality, and they're with the tires and the cars. They're made for speed, and they're made for safety as well. One thing that I noticed in Germany in the 10 years I was there, if there's an accident in Germany, it's usually a fatality because of the speed. But they are rare.
Got it.
It's not like every day like you hear about in Las Vegas. Not near anything like that. And people are very courteous. If you put on your turn signal to move over, they will give you the space. They're very, very courteous.
Okay. Now, when you moved, why did you choose Pahrump?
We wanted to live in Las Vegas. It goes way back, and I won't try and go back that far. But coming back, we had decided we were going to live in Las Vegas, and we were looking at a house that we had looked at once before. A house that we had looked at earlier was $185,000. When we were coming back, it was a time when prices of homes were going up, and we looked at that same house, $185,000. It is now $550,000.
Wow.
And my brother said, "Why don't you look at Pahrump?" And I said, "What's Pahrump?" So he said, "Well, let me take you over." So he brought us over to look at Pahrump, and we drove around and looked at some model homes and everything else. And I have to say, I'm from Chicago, so I'm not used to a small town. And I told Faye and I told my brother, who's also from Chicago, I can't live in a small town. I'm from Chicago. And so Las Vegas is going to be it. But as the prices were going up and we looked at the home in Pahrump, and for a whole lot less than that house was going to cost us, a house that we didn't really like, we could have one built. And that's exactly what we did. So when I retired from Department of Defense Dependent Schools in Germany, we came to Pahrump and we moved into our brand new home.
Wow. Wow. And do you remember what the population was at that time?
I don't remember, but it was somewhere around, I was thinking 25, 30,000.
Okay. Did they have electricity?
Yes.
Okay.
We had electricity at that time.
And I think what the electricity came in what, like 1965, something like that?
In the 60s. It was in the 60s when I talked to Tim Hafen, because I had him as one of my guests on my show. And at both TV stations, as a matter of fact. And so Tim, I considered the pioneer of Pahrump. That gave me all the background of how things started, what families were here, and how it was during those times.
Okay. And it was probably very fascinating, right?
Oh,
the history.
Very fascinating. I'm a historical buff, and just to hear the history of Pahrump and how it came to be and the different families that made it what it is today, I thought it was just truly outstanding.
And would you say you know pretty much? Like if somebody wanted to find out what is the history of Pahrump?
I tell them to go talk to Tim Hafen.
Okay, okay. And there was cotton. Was there cotton here? No cotton when you came.
Not when I came.
But when they started.
He talked to me about the cotton and how it was, they had plenty of water for the cotton, and so they had plenty of water for all the things that they're talking about building in Pahrump.
Okay. And why did they stop doing cotton?
Well, he didn't say exactly why they stopped, but it just seemed that with the people coming in and the way the industry was changing, it just became more beneficial to do other things.
Okay. And when did water become an issue here?
I think water has always been an issue because there's some people that think water is unlimited.
Yeah.
And there are many who think water is limited.
Right.
And because of that, and because of that distinction, there are people that just don't know what the water basins are in the Pahrump area, the Pahrump Valley. And of course, Clark County would love to have some of that water. And so they're trying to make sure that they have that. And so with that and in closing that, look, we're going to move into the next segment where we're going to talk about other things, because there's so many other things that we want to talk about. So come back and join us for the next session. Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us. You know, in the last segment, Ed, we were talking about water, and we were talking about so many other things. But let's talk about this show in particular. I have always enjoyed working this show. But I knew there had to be a time when we were going to say, we're going to transition to move on to something else and maybe expand on this show or just something to make some changes so that this viewing audience can really appreciate what we do here and how important it is that we provide the information that we provide for them. One of the things we look at is we can't continue on forever. And so what we need to do is look at a transition of some sort. And the transition that we looked at is, what do we do for Nye County if Tom Waters is not here? What happens? And so I think because of the situations that have occurred, we were looking at, why not somebody like Ed coming in and transitioning into taking over the show? Because you could provide so much information, as a guest, as a host, it could be either way. So I think that's what I'd like to do.
Thank you, Dr. Waters. And when we talked about this before, my condition was that I would be the guest host.
Yes.
Not take over the show, that it's still your show. I'm just the guest host, and that, I would really appreciate you calling in, nudging me, poking me, hey, you're going the wrong way. Or, good job if I hit it right. Because it really is about the community.
Yes.
And I think of anybody, I can think of two people that do more for the community, that actually do more for the community than most of everybody else combined. And, in fairness, a lot of people come here because they want to enjoy life and retire and
Yes.
not be hassled and have freedom and do what they want to do. And there are other people who want to do things, but there are people who actually do things. And, you're one of a very small number of people that actually do things and have been an inspiration to me in the 4 years that I've been here.
Well, thank you.
And I know whenever I'm talking to people, which is a lot, whenever your name comes up, it's always positive.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's, one of the litmus tests I have with people is people say a lot of things about Tom Waters or about Hetzapetz or about whoever. And I'll say, and one of the things that I appreciate they say about Tom is really smart. A lot of people
hadn't heard that.
Okay. A lot of people, it's like, I've heard a lot of things about that person, but nobody's ever said they're really smart.
Okay.
And for me, people that are smart are the ones that can make things happen. And they're the ones that have discernment. And you are just a great role model for the community. You have been. I've observed over the last 4 years. I think I've known you for about 3 years.
Yes.
I think I was here for a year before I met you. And every time we've had an interaction, it's been always positive. And
that's because you're a positive person.
I try to be. I get that from somebody else who's here as well. But the show only works if we keep going in the direction that you started.
Okay.
And I want you to really, I'll fill in for when you're not available, but
Okay.
it's really on the condition that you monitor the direction we're going.
I like that.
From up on top, from Vern, it was we want to expand into southern Nevada more.
Okay.
But that would be the only kind of expansion from Nye County to southern Nevada, a little bit more. I think there's more technology here and the signal travels better and there's opportunities in Vegas and in Boulder City and some of the other places that the signal reaches.
Well, Vern is the station owner and he has a vision for exactly where he wants to go with all of this. And I really appreciate him.
So that would be kind of the only change that we would want to do is take the thing and kind of broaden it a little bit, but really to keep the frontier spirit, which if somebody says to me, what do you find unique about Nye County? I would say Nye County is the frontier. This is the last frontier that is accessible. You know, we could go to northern Nevada, way
Yes.
up there. It's rural, it's frontier, but we're only 1 hour from Vegas, from Sin City. We're one
Yes.
hour west of Sin City, and we have 1 hour to our west is Death Valley,
Yes.
right? And then a little bit more than an hour north is Area 51,
Yes.
right? And then we have that other thing that's about, what, 3 or 4 miles south, the brothels, right? Which we're not going to talk about the brothels, but
Okay.
but we have, we're 40 million people come to Las Vegas every year. And I'm told there's 1 million people that go to Death Valley.
Yes.
And they have to travel through where to get there?
Pahrump.
Yeah, they have to travel through here. And so we are in the frontier,
Yes.
and we are accessible. And we have people here that really want to keep the frontier thing. And how do we know? Because they're carrying guns, right? They have these big trucks.
It's the lifestyle.
Yeah. And I think you have done a very good job accentuating and shepherding that to people. You're not out there complaining about we should do this and we should do that, and there's these problems and those problems. You've been a very good leader, light heading us in the direction that we want to keep going. So I'm in if you're still in.
I'm still in, and I am very, very gracious and happy that you're willing to take this on.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Doctor. And so with that, I want to give a little preview, if I can,
Sure.
to who's coming next.
Yes, I think
So-
that'd be perfect.
Kathie McKenna is going to be our next guest on segment 3.
Okay,
And we're going to leave the training wheels on, but I'm going to change seats with you, right?
that's right.
Okay. So you'll be in here.
I'll be here.
Okay. And,
I'll
and
be
we can do
watching.
some hand signals or whatever.
I'll be
Like,
watching. Yes.
Cut, you're going the wrong. So, but it's a big responsibility for the show. You've done it for 10 years.
Yes.
And Vern told me before that he had tried doing something for 15 years, that they had a thing, but for the last 10 years, you have been building, a nice trajectory up.
And thoroughly enjoying every second of it.
Yeah, and I think everybody enjoys you. So, well, Doctor, I turn it back over to you.
Okay. This, again, I'm going to step back and we're going to let Ed take it on and do some things to provide the continuing information to all of you. It's been my honor to be a part of this show, and I'm still going to be a part of it.
You are,
So
or I'm not.
not leaving, but at the same time, we want Ed to kind of transition in so that you get used to seeing him as well as seeing me. And that's what it's all about. The station itself has just been phenomenal. The growth that we've had have been phenomenal. And just the audience, it's been a growth. And we're so thankful that you're there for each and every one of us. So Ed, I just want to thank you again for everything you've done, everything you're doing. The fact that Kathie McKenna is going to be coming on in the next segment, I think this audience is going to be wowed by everything. They've seen her on the show,
Yeah.
but so much has happened in the meantime. So with that, again, thank you.
Thank
for
you,
everything.
Doctor.
Is there anything else you'd like to say in closing? We've got a few seconds.
Thank you again for the opportunity. It's a big responsibility. We want to keep the direction, keep this as a frontier, and keep everybody informed and feel that they have an open forum to share what's important to them.
Okay. Thank you, and come back and join us for the next segment. Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us. And again, Ed is going to take over this section. And we have a new guest, and that's Kathie McKenna. And Kathie, we're so glad to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Tom.
And with this, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Ed so that he can continue this session. And you've already seen the introduction. This is what it's going to be all about as we move forward. So Ed, all yours.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay. And Kathie, take care.
Thank you, Tom.
So, you know, when Tom did this before, when we were out there, he said, we're in good hands with you, Ed. Oops. So,
We have full faith in you, Ed.
okay.
Full faith.
So thank you, Kathie, for being on the show. My first guest
I
on
feel
the
very
show.
honored.
And I got to say, if it doesn't work, it's all your fault because you're the one who introduced me to Tom.
Okay, well,
And-
I've got broad shoulders.
And as you know, in many cases, you're the one who has been helping stand behind me in front of me, leading the way.
Exactly.
And supporting me. So
Absolutely.
I think it's fitting. And but I think even more than that, and of course, I don't think I would even be in Pahrump still without your support and Tom's support. But more than that, the measure, I think what we need, and I've talked about on the show every time I've been on it, is people who have a high IQ, who have a vision. And when people talk about you, you know, one of the positive things they say is that you definitely have vision.
I love the rural area, and I've lived in the rural areas most of my life. I've enjoyed it. I'm definitely not a city girl. Vegas is great being an hour away. I mean, if I need to go, I can go, but we pretty much stay right here in Pahrump.
Where were you where were you before Pahrump?
We were in Arizona for about a year, but prior to that, I was in the Midwest, both in South Dakota and Missouri.
Okay.
And I lived 4 years in Hawaii, 4 to 5 years. That was my midlife crisis time. So it was always, it's a wonderful place to live, but it's really hard if you have your own business and you're flying back and forth.
Which island?
Kauai.
Kauai. I don't know where that is.
It's the Garden Island.
Oh.
It's absolutely beautiful.
I have a daughter that lives in Maui.
Ah.
Where is that relative?
A couple island hops away.
North, south, east, west?
It is east.
Is it further from Oahu?
It's probably equal distance. We're west, they're east.
I see. Okay, great. And when you were living in Arizona, was it frontier area, rural?
Actually, it was not. I was working for a Native American telephone company, one of the few that's left in the United States. And I lived I butted right up next to the reservation, the Gila River Reservation.
So that was rural? Or was it frontier?
It's still,
the Wild West?
It's Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
It's Phoenix.
Okay.
Even though I was down a nice little cul-de-sac, it's Phoenix.
Okay. So it sounds like it's...
It does. It does. It's right next to you, but it's still Phoenix.
Okay. And then before that, in South Dakota?
Yes. Yes. I lived in South Dakota for about 5 years. I met my husband there. It's
Lee?
Yep, Lee. It's a beautiful location. I loved raising children there, but when there is 3 feet of snow in the wintertime and you have to shovel the snow within 48 hours, it kind of loses its appeal, especially with the wind chill of -50 and the wind blowing at about 50 miles an hour. I decided that we needed a warmer space.
Now, did you go from Hawaii to South Dakota or Hawaii
I did.
to not Missouri?
I had a short time in Missouri and then I went up to South Dakota because I'm originally from Missouri.
Oh.
I grew up in the big city, and after I left at age 19, I never returned.
Never.
Phoenix was I go back there to visit family, but not very often.
I see. So what is it, where did you get your ability to have vision, to be able to think into the future and actually create it?
I think probably the biggest issue is I was very lucky and fell into a very good job as the general manager for one of the very first cellular telephone companies back in the very early 90s. I was the only female really that was in any form of management, and that's where I spent 30 plus years, was in telecom. And of course, I remember when I took the job and I called my dad and I'm like, it sounds crazy, Dad, but it's phones in cars. And he's like going, Kathie, I think this is a mistake. Only time I didn't agree with my dad. I said, well, you know, I'm unhappy with the job I have. I'm going to try it. And he's like, I just can't see people using phones in their cars. Well,
wow.
We can see now the vision and where it's taken us. And of course, it was also through the computer age and through the internet age. And so it's been, I was very lucky to have a wonderful career. And now I'm here in Pahrump and easing into my retirement years, working harder than I've ever done, working for nonprofits. So
okay, so when you say phones in cars, that was all you could do, because the next stage was phones in briefcases, right?
Right. And then of course the handheld phones came into being.
Big bricks, right?
Yes, exactly.
And then the Motorola first flip phone.
Yep.
Which everybody, when that came out, that was like, oh, you got one of those?
Yep, that, and then the BlackBerry. And so, yes, I've been through all the stages of the phones. I was very lucky to work with some of the high-end phone manufacturers and got to test new phones before they came out to the market, which was really cool.
And so my hunch is, at that time, you took that and got promoted and did well in that industry because you had vision for the future.
I did.
You had a sense this is going to be.
Absolutely. As I said, my dad, it's probably the only time I disagreed with my dad. And, but you know, I always worked in rural areas because I wanted the rural areas to have the same opportunities that we have in urban areas. And so, you know, if we don't have the same things, our children in our rural areas are going to lack.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see high-speed internet. I wanted to see cellular phones. You know, the ability to kids to do online schooling and all of that would not have been possible if we didn't push this technology into the rural areas.
Right. Now, I just want to go back for a second because it just kind of percolated through my system that you said you're from Missouri.
Yes.
My grandfather was from Missouri.
Ah.
And he used to, my German grandfather, not my Italian grandfather. My German grandfather was from Missouri, and he used to have kind of crazy little sayings, like he would say, "muss is," because "muss ain't" doesn't sound right. Is that any kind of Missouri?
There's a lot of colloquialisms that are in Missouri, you know, of course, we're the show me state. So sometimes we create our own, you know, we do talk about the back 40 and,
which means what?
The back 40 acres, or,
you
know,
like as opposed to the front 40?
Or we're in the short rows, and people are like, what do you mean short rows? Well, when you plant, you usually start with the long rows, and then you get down to the points of the land, and so you're in the short rows.
Oh, okay. Got it.
There's a ton of little things like that. So that's just
And you use any of those at work? Where people say, what? And they say, oh, that's just
not as
Kathie.
much anymore. It's been a long time since I farmed, and it's been, well, you know, 30 years at least, if not longer.
When you first came to Pahrump, what did you feel?
You know, it seemed like it was the Wild West. I mean, it was, when I came here, I actually came here for a job, and I kept trying to find the downtown area. And so I'm driving and I'm like, there's got to be a downtown area. So when I get to the job, I'm like, I just got one question, like, where is the downtown area? And they said, well, did you see Smith's? And I said, yes. McDonald's? Yeah. Walmart? Yeah. That's downtown. I'm like, okay, I'm there. At least I can stop looking for something that wasn't there. So, you know, when you look at the history of Pahrump, where they didn't get electricity till 1962.
Wow.
And I'm older than that. I'm like, this is just, the thought of that is just crazy.
Now, what about, do you remember when you first saw somebody packing a gun, or was that normal for you?
No, that was not normal. I was in the grocery store and I didn't know if maybe there was something wrong. I mean, it's one of those things that you're not around people packing guns in the grocery store. You know, and we stopped in at Smith's the same day I came out to apply for this, you know, interview for this job. And I'm like, I wonder if they know something that we don't know. But you learn really quick that this is just a gun carrying area.
Do you ever talk to people like, why do you carry a gun? You ever done that?
You know, I haven't. I know a lot of folks that do carry guns, and I know what their position is. They feel more comfortable. I work with a veteran that we work with him with Toys for Tots, and he's always carried a gun on his hip, and it just is what he does.
Outside of Nevada outreach, is there a sign that says no weapons or something?
Yes. We don't allow any weapons in, and it's because we work with domestic violence victims, and there are perpetrators that do come to our door.
Okay.
So we're trying to make sure that everyone there is safe.
So it's for a reality thing, not just a trigger thing.
Right. It's more for just safety on everybody's part. You know, if a perpetrator does come to the door and his victim's there, it can get a little heated at times. That's why our door's locked. You know, you have to knock and ring the doorbell to be let in.
And wait.
Yep.
Okay. I got a hand signal.
I'm helping him out here. I've been on Tom's show enough. I know how it works. We're down to a minute.
Yes, okay. Now what?
So, I've enjoyed this portion.
How about just a quick little shout out for your friends at the Wind Down?
Oh, great folks at the Wind Down. They do a lot for our community. They're always trying to find ways to help those that are those nonprofits and helping to get monies into their pockets to help our community members. They're a wonderful group, and they help a lot too with our events. They've always been there to volunteer and do what they can to help us.
Okay, well, we're just about to wrap up this segment, so I've got 15 seconds.
Yes. So the next segment, we're going
to talk about the horses.
Okay, next segment is horses.
And with that,
we'll see you in a moment.
Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for this next segment of the show. We're going to be talking to Kathie about something that the community is very interested in, and that's kind of going to be one of the things we do every week, is to talk about a subject that everybody in town is talking about, and we want to flesh it out. We want to have a point and counterpoint. We're not going to be arguing or debating it. We just want to bring out both sides so that when we're done, everybody who's watching the show has an idea of, oh, okay, now I can see it from that perspective too. And so we're going to be talking about the wild horse situation today. Kathie knows a lot about horses. She tried to get me into the horsing, to horse around. I was horsing around, right?
You were for a little bit.
I was horsing around. I thought I was doing something, but I was just horsing around. And but Kathie knows a lot about horses for pretty much your whole life, right?
Yep. I started horses when I was 15. I got my first horse. I had to buy it on my own, and I had to muck stalls to be able to pay for its boarding. And so horses have always been a part of my life. And now that I'm getting closer to my retirement years, my husband and I decided we would move from our regular house here in Pahrump to a place that has some land so we could have some more animals. And I got a few animals. A few right
dozen.
now, yeah.
More than a few dozen. A
Probably,
score.
Yeah, between horses and pot-bellied pigs and goats and chickens and horses. And so right now I have 7 horses, which I'm starting to find is a little more than I really want to deal with. But I rescued 2 here recently that were here in Pahrump. But I had always wanted to have a wild horse. And coming to Pahrump and seeing the wild horses here, there's just something about it that it is the Wild West. It is the last remnants of that freedom, and to see the horses out there. And so I'd always wanted to have some Mustangs, and I adopted a mare and her baby, and had trouble trying to get her to gain weight. And a few months later, it was because she had a little one in the oven, and we ended up with 2 babies. So right now I have a 9-month-old and a 21-month-old. So they're right at a year apart. And both of them are little stud colts. One's about to become a gelding.
Now, is that common that they're that close together?
In the wild, yes.
Okay.
Because Mustangs, after they have their baby, their highest fertility or any horse is within the first 10 days of giving birth.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's, and it can be problematic too, because the stallions can be rough, and especially around babies. She was roughly 9 10 years old, and she had probably had a baby every year since she was 2.
Wow.
So sadly, we lost her to aortic aneurysm right about the time we were getting ready to wean the latest one. So sadly, he had to wean a little earlier and kind of grow up, as we would say, because he lost his mama. But the boys are very happy and play. They are actually from a reservation in Arizona, from the Yavapai Reservation, which is treated differently than the wild horses that we have here are from the BLM. And so BLM manages the wild horses here. As we know, every so often we have a roundup. And part of the reason we have the roundup is because when the horses come down out of the hills in the fall, they're here all year round, but a lot of them will also migrate here. They end up, they see people see them. People just think, oh, it's a horse and I want to pet it. It is so unsafe to pet
and feed it.
Yes, it's so unsafe to pet a wild horse. It's so unsafe to feed it. People have very good intentions of giving them, going out there and dumping a bag of 25 pounds of carrots. But horses, wild horses that are not used to that, of course, they're going to overeat. You can cause colic situations, which is a really bad stomach ache that can kill a horse. And so that's why we ask people, please do not feed them. Please do not try to pet them. Observe them from a distance. Put your camera on zoom and zoom in and take those really nice photos, but don't get near them.
Because it's dangerous for the person or the horse, or both?
Both. Because the horse, they don't realize that sometimes there's a youngster around, and that stallion or mare, either one, will come after you thinking you're going to hurt that baby.
I see. Okay.
And so people can get hurt in that process. Plus, when the horses start to become domesticated, they lose that natural ability to be fearful and to be watchful. And one of the issues we just had a brand new herd of 4 horses that were hit last night and killed. And it's just heartbreaking. There was a lot of folks that were out there, trying to figure out what's going on. I think one may have been hit first. And horses are herd animals. They like to live in a herd. And so the other 3 probably stayed around there. And at night, you just can't see them. It's dark out here. It's the rural areas. It's the wild, wild west. We don't have a lot of street lights. And there's a lot of pros and cons with people saying, gosh, I'd really like to see street lights so that maybe we could see the horses better. But everybody's like, well, we really like the night sky and we like the dark sky program. And so there needs to be some form of a happy medium. If there's signs that are flashing that say, at night, beware, horses and burros are on the road.
There's one on 160.
Right. And we may need more.
Got it.
But there's a lot of...
well, wait, what time did this happen? Do you know?
I think it was late last night, more like early morning to mid-morning when this happened. So it's still dark, before 5, 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And so, we have a lot of horse rescues and donkey rescues because we also have wild donkeys.
Okay.
That is kind of on my bucket list, but I've got to convince my husband that I need a donkey, not just want a donkey. But we have some wonderful, just as an example, there's donkeys of Pahrump, and they've rescued a few of the donkeys here.
Now, do you have any idea how many wild horses would come down to here?
Do you know?
I know a year ago they rounded up.
They did. We had a huge roundup. The community fought back. They were actually taken to Ridgecrest, California. And most of the horses that were taken from here were actually adopted and brought back to our community.
Wow.
So they are at various locations so that they're still back here, because the 2 beloved ones were Fred and the mare's name just skipped my mind. And then they had recently had a baby, and I think that baby is Zamora. Could be wrong on the names. But anyway, Fred and Rosie. Everybody loved Fred and Rosie. So it was nice to have them brought back. But they are actually now being cared for by nonprofits, just like Donkeys of Pahrump out at the desert marketplace. They're actually keeping them, and they've actually got it to where you can pay $1 and get some feed and actually feed the donkeys. And those are the type, we want those interactions, but those are ones that are being domesticated, not the ones that are loose and running free.
Well, let me ask you this. So you are in favor of keeping the wild horses in?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I love the wild horses here. I think everybody does.
I agree with you.
We just have to figure out a way to make it safer for everyone. It causes a lot of damage when they hit vehicles. It can cause loss of life. And nobody intentionally hits a donkey or a horse. It happens because it's just so dark out here and they just don't see them.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's kind of like hitting deers back in Missouri.
Right.
They pop out of nowhere, you don't see them, and by the time you're on top of them, it's too late. So
the horses don't stand on the road, right? They cross the road.
They usually won't stand on the road. It depends. One might stop waiting for its mare or baby to cross the road, and so they will stop in the road.
Okay.
I've seen donkeys, it seems like, stop more in the road than the horses do. I think they're just kind of thinking about it. And so that's why, and trust me, when it's dark outside and you got a black and gray donkey on a black and gray asphalt road.
Yeah, and you're traveling 80 feet per second.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're on top of them.
By the time you see it.
That's exactly right. It's over.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we need to slow down, and maybe that's what we do. Maybe in the areas where we know we have heavy traffic. Calvada is a big area where we know that there's horses there all the time. Mm-hmm. They're always crossing 160 there to go up and, up on the east side of Pahrump. It's at 35 miles an hour. Maybe we make it 45 going out of town instead of 55.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think it's ever the case that all of the horses could get round up, or there's just too many out in the wild?
It's concerning that BLM will come in and take them all and say, hey, we just don't like them in populated areas.
Like, do they take all they can find? Or do they say, we're going to just cull the herd a little bit?
A lot of times they will take all that they can find. I know Beatty has a huge donkey population, so they take quite a few of those donkeys at a time. They also do a lot of sterilization by giving them a shot, giving the mares a shot, so that kind of like, birth control for horses to hopefully be able to stop producing additional horses and just be able to maintain their numbers.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this up, but do you foresee there will always be wild horses and burros and donkeys? And
I will be shocked if we eliminate all of them.
So people will get rid of the horses when they give up their guns. Would you say it's to that level?
Probably, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I know they fight right now when BLM comes down and takes our horses. And as you can see, they all rally back. And I want to say there was, I don't know, like a dozen or more that were taken the last time that they went up and got and brought back to our community. Now, mind you, they are in a rescue now, but I think if we can get people to not feed them so they can maintain their wildness and be able to feed on their own and they don't rely on humans, I think we have a better chance of keeping them than if we have people that are wanting to pet them, wanting to feed them. It just gives the BLM that much more reason to say it's not safe for the horses.
Got it. So I think what we should do is have you as our ambassador for wild horses.
There's a few of them here in town.
I know there was a lot, but and if we can reach out to you from time to time,
absolutely,
to update on the horses, because that's an important part of our culture. And with that, we are going to sign off.
You're already signed off. You're already signed off.